Welcome everybody to Football Meets Your ELF Star. Today we have an episode for you in English and we have very special guests because we want to give you more content, about the ELF and their players and their franchises, but we didn't speak too much about the Wrocław Panthers and the Barcelona Dragons yet, but that will change. So today we have two guests from the Wrocław Panthers and they will correct me if I pronounced it wrong, I guess. It's Coach Jakub Samel and D-liner Karlis Brauns. Hi, guys.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Great that you could make it. Okay, Coach, I start with you because I already interrupted you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your job at the Wrocław Panthers, and if I said it correctly?
Oh, yeah, you said it correctly. Wrocław Panthers. I'm coaching since 2012. I started playing football in Poland, and that was the only really country I played football. I got really interested in the strategy of the game, and since 2012, I started coaching. Since 2016, I'm here in Wrocław. I started as an offensive line coach, then I became also the head coach of the junior program, and since 2020, I am the head coach of the whole organization here.
Oh, all right. And I read about you in an article that you started as an offensive line coach, and offensive line is also always state your favorite personal group or your favorite part of a team. Is that correct? And can you maybe name us a reason why?
Well, the offensive line, I played offensive line, and I also really like the offensive linemen because they're the least athletic group on the field, but they have the hardest job because they have to face people like Karlis that are basically superhuman, trying to run in a sprinter stance and get to the quarterback. And those guys have to go back in a kick slide and try to redirect. They never get the ball. They never get anytime anybody notices the offensive line is when they have a penalty or they give up a sack. So it's really hard to find people to play that position that is really team oriented. And you don't find that people in any other sport that don't really get any stats. So it's a very hard position to find people to do that because there's no glory in that, but it's a vital point of the team.
Okay, and then I would say we switch to this superhuman superhero down here on my right, actually. Yeah, you're on my left, Coach, and Karlis is on my right. Your hair gives it away a little bit that you're kind of a Super Saiyan, is it always that you wear the pink hair or do you switch sometimes?
No, I mean, I did a little experimentation at the beginning of the season. I decided that pink is the color, but it's really for this season. I think it's part of a kind of psychological warfare. When I go all day beat these German dudes, and the end of the day we have to say goodbye and shake our hands, and then they're like, you also have pink hair. And then imagine how those offensive meeting goes next week when the coach tells, okay, you got beat all day by this dude, and, well, he also has pink hair. I imagine it's not a very nice feeling.
No, I think it's pretty humiliating, but you have to get along with it, So, tell us a little bit about yourself, how your football journey was already. I think you're from Latvia, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm from Latvia. I started playing, I think, 2015 was the first time I tried anything from football. Then I think I was struggling some 2 years with the local team there. Then I tried 1 year when I decided this is what I want to do. So I found a way to a Serbian team, Belgrade Blue Dragons. Same year I also played in Finland with Kotka Eagles. There we got the championship for second division. And then from then 2 seasons in GFL 1 with the Cologne Crocodiles and Hildesheim Invaders. Obviously last year most of Europe didn't play, so I didn't play either. So this year, a little warm-up in Polish second division, and now with the Wrocław Panthers.
Well, you have seen a lot of spots, it looks like, already in the football business. Why did you come to Wrocław? What was the reason why you decided to join this project ELF and also to go to the already existing club? And then I think the coach can say a little bit about the transformance, to the new league.
I think it's just like when you look at it, it's very hard. It's very narrow-minded. No offense about it, just to call it Project ELF. I think it's something that should be the future here in Europe, especially a lot of these national level what is this? Well, competition at national level in each different country, they're very limited, and I think they have also very narrow scope of what they want to do, objectives. So here it's such an international, really competition within the international teams, the more professional level. That is the next step for Europe. So I think that is something most, if not all, players in Europe really wanted to be in there. So like, I'm pretty sure that like anyone who will say otherwise, no, I didn't want to be here right now, they're lying to you. Well, especially when compared to like GFL.
But you could have stayed like on a German team. What was the reason that you said, okay, I want to go to the only Polish team?
I mean, here it's I think it's a combination of things. Like here, I think Eastern Europeans as a whole, I count myself amongst them, is very underrated in Germany. I think I have some scores to settle with some other German teams and German players and German coaches. So really, I think for me, it was really either Barcelona or Wrocław were the really plausible choices. So, and with Wrocław, I think it was great. Like they have already, this one of the few programs that's already in place before this, which is not completely made from zero this year. So I think it was a pretty good shot to go with them.
All right, coach, I want to ask you, when the ELF started right now, you were a coach already at the Wrocław Panthers, and you know how the level of the league was. Was it, I mean, I just asked like freely, was it that you beating everybody in the last years, and you needed a little bit more competition? Was that maybe a reason why you said, okay, we want to take part of this European League?
Well, for years, we were trying to build a really strong organization with a really strong team that could compete at a European level. And we were competing with European teams, but it was only in tournaments, and it was just a couple of games a year. And we were deciding that this is what the type of level we want to aspire and get to. And we understood that we got invited pretty early to this this league where, with Patrick Azume. He reached out to us pretty early, asking will we be interested, and how he sell us the whole project. As you see it right now, he showed us the whole vision of how the marketing will work, how the TV will work, how the presentation will work, how it benefit the players, so their exposure will be a lot higher, and how they want to do a very professional project. And that's something that national leagues struggle to, because they don't have the big financial backing. It's all really ran by small organizations that try to create a national league. Here we have a international league that is backed up really well financially, have a really solid business model. And that was something interesting for us, because we were one of the few teams that were already working as a company. So our mindset was a little bit different there. And for us, that was very enticing, that the whole league model was so professionally presented. And as you see, I think it exceeded expectations of everybody, in the first weeks of play, that how the league is ran, how it looks, how it's presented. So we are very happy.
Great. What were your impressions, Karlis, from the first games, in this new league?
In general, I mean, here, I compare it to, I think it's fair to say that in general, last few years, or last decade, the best place in Europe to play the most competitive would be German GFL 1, right? So here I compare it very similar to that, except obviously, there are some teams who came in this with a little bit less preparation, so that you can really see the development, but skill-wise, it's very similar to that, except, well, I agree with Coach that it's the professional, the level of how it's presented is much more professional. I think also the approach to the games themselves, as I've said before, that this is the first time that in Europe we get to play grown man football of 15-minute quarters. And while it might seem not like a big deal, it is a big difference. It's almost like 25% increase of playing time. So it is definitely difficult, definitely fun. Well, so for me, it's not only positive compared to what I've done before.
Why, by the way, I wanted to ask you that earlier, did you decide to be a D-liner in your life? When did you make the decision, and what is it that attracts you on that position? It can't be just your size and your strength, right? That you're made for this.
I mean, here in Europe, the size often puts you in a position, or coaches force you into a position just because of your size. That is true. But for me also, it was probably one of my first American coaches. He kind of put me in this or another position, which was a tight end. Those were two positions I was working on. But here, I just felt this is more natural for me. Just the kind of, it's the contradiction of playing on defense, but you actually are attacking the quarterback all the time. So that part of the hunt I really definitely enjoy. But it's it's the same. It's just the American football. It's so difficult, and you can play it in so different ways that it's just you keep learning up until now. So it's the same with defensive line. It's not so easy as just running a couple of routes like for Titans.
Well, you guys were seen like right from the start as like one of the teams which would be fighting for the crown this year, in the first year, because everybody thought, and I think that's the truth, that you as a team knew each other maybe the longest, like if you compare it to other teams, Is that the truth, Coach? Did you have like the same core probably as last year, like mainly?
Well, we had the luxury of having a lot of players already on board, so that way we could already structure practices. We're able to practice, and then when we started looking at a roster, we found the areas that we really wanted to improve and bring new players, and we were able to use all of our spots for European and American players, and that is a big transition for us because we never had so many imports like German teams have all the time. So, and it was also very important for us to pick the right guys for the whole team, so we don't bring guys that will not fit what we want to do here also. So that was a transition for us for sure, to bring so many different players, but it was just a little bit of an advantage because, we had established program. We didn't have to fight for training grounds. We didn't have to fight for practice times, with other clubs. That was for sure an advantage for us. But we also had to rebuild the roster because the roster we had last year is completely different from the roster we have this year.
I just talked about favorites. I mean, like two of the other big favorites before the season were probably the Hamburg Sea Devils and the Frankfurt Galaxy. Your team has the, I would say, advantage or disadvantage, more a disadvantage from my point of view, that you have to play them twice, both during the year. And now your schedule or your record is on 3-3, and you play Frankfurt Galaxy the upcoming week, right? So what is your takeaway from the last game against the Frankfurt Galaxy? And what would you say you have to be careful, or you have to like put your focus on the next game this week?
Well, definitely the turnovers were a big factor in the game. We had 5 turnovers, so that's something that you cannot win a football game if you turn the ball over like that. We have to focus on our game, on how we play, how we're disciplined on offense, defense, and special teams, because when you face teams that are great overall, you cannot win games if you're just good in one phase and really average in others. You cannot be average in any phase of the game. You have to be focused, disciplined, and work at it. So we're gonna face a really, really good team. They had a great game against Canberra last weekend. I'm sure they're extremely pumped up for this game also coming to our stadium. And we're super how to say. Well, we're prepared for this challenge. Like, we want to face them. That's why we're in this league, and that's the teams we want to face and have those games. And I'm also hearing that there's a lot of fans in Poland that are extremely pumped up for this game, that they're going to come in and have a really, really huge support for us.
Yeah. My colleague Hendrik and me, we are still trying to also come to see that great game because it will be a highlight game, I suppose. Karlis, is it different to play at home in this league for you, especially because I think like in Wrocław, you have the most fans of all stadiums. I heard about like 3,000 or something. Maybe you can clarify that. And is that like a huge boost for you when you play at home now against the Galaxy?
The exact numbers, I am not sure. Obviously, for us, I think, especially in the beginning of season, we had less COVID restrictions in Poland than in Germany. So that I think Stuttgart maybe might have had some problems with that at the beginning, where they couldn't have the fans there. But honestly, it is a huge difference of having a lot of fans. It is it really brings up the energy. I think we played in Cologne, where in the beginning it was completely silent, and it just felt very weird to be in that stadium, and just like, the atmosphere is not there. So especially in a tight game, it is very important that fans are there. So playing at home in Wrocław, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
Well, I can't wait until the last game day, because I'm living in Leipzig, and I will be there when you play the Leipzig Kings on the last day, because we have a pretty good fan atmosphere here too. You will like it.
That's good.
All right. I have another one for the coach. Last Sunday, there was the deadline day, for your roster, and you had to clarify your final roster. Were there any changes you have to make? Because I know injuries are always a topic in this sport. How is it about injuries when it comes to your team? What did you have to do before the last day of the roster cut?
Well, before the last day of the roster cut, we made one change in our American players roster. We decided to release our running back, Mark Herndon, because he had a little bit of a struggle with his health. So we decided to change him. And we needed somebody who gives us more explosiveness. Mark gave us very solid running game, really good in pass protection, could catch the ball out of the backfields, but we decided we needed somebody who will be more explosive on offense. And we decided to bring Cavante Turpin, wide receiver who played in TCU. And we also added William James, who's a Swedish-British player who was with the Montreal Alouette this year. He was selected in the CFL Global Draft. He got released from Montreal, and we were able to sign him for the remainder of the season.
What was his position?
He can play linebacker, he can play defensive back. He's a very versatile player, so he will fit perfectly in our defense.
Okay, so he supported both ends of the ball, defense and offense, and
yeah.
I'm very excited to see the game. I think it will be a big one and a big classic of this league. The league already had some really good games. I remember the game against Cologne was a really for an audience, I think a really great game. Unfortunately, it didn't went in your way, but yeah. What do you think? Your aspirations are obviously to get to the playoffs, right?
Obviously, the goal is to get to the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens, because when you get to the playoffs, the record doesn't matter then. So our main focus right now is on the game against Frankfurt, and then we have 4 more games left in the regular season, and we want to do the best we can in each of those games and then get to the playoffs, because that's the goal.
Okay. Karlis, any comments on your goals for this year?
I think obviously we spoke together before that, well, this is the kind of baby step is the playoffs, but the goal is the championship game, and then bringing the first European championship in Poland. That is obviously the goal. I think there is no question why people join these teams this year.
Okay. All right. Okay. If you're down to it, I have a little game prepared, which is just, I will ask you 5 questions, back and forth. I would start with the coach, and then I will go to Karlis, and I will switch it up. 5 questions each. It's a little bit more of personal nature sometimes, but you will see, and maybe you try to answer it as fast as possible. What comes to mind first, okay?
Okay.
Are you down with it, both?
Sure.
Cool. Okay, coach, I start with you. Your favorite sport next to football?
Basketball.
Basketball. Okay. Karlis, your favorite warm-up song before a game?
Warm-up song. Something from AC/DC for sure.
All right. Coach, your coaching idol and why?
I would say Chuck Noll, because he was really high on fundamentals and doing the small things right.
Okay. Karlis, your funniest teammate?
Funniest teammate. That would be probably William Lloyd. I think he's the funniest teammate.
Who again?
Will Lloyd.
Will Lloyd. Okay. Coach, the coolest city you've ever been to?
San Antonio.
Oh, nice. First town. Okay, Karlis, the biggest buddy in the league you have, or buddy you have in the league, except of players of the Wrocław Panthers, because you know some players, I think, in the league. Or do you want to tackle them all?
Obviously, tackle them all. It's a hard decision. Like there are a couple of guys in Leipzig. I think
you can name more than one.
Probably, I think I'm pretty tight with Rodion from Leipzig, Rodion Henrique and Jalil Lavini. They're cool guys, and also Mete Konya, D-liner from Frankfurt. So I think those three would be outside of my team right now.
All right, Coach. Maybe not something for a coach, but we will see the favorite touchdown celebration you have ever seen, where you laughed hard.
My favorite touchdown celebration.
What you ever seen, maybe on NFL or anywhere.
Oh, Terrell Owens, like signing the ball and just tossing the ball out.
I remember. Okay, Karlis, the most hated exercise you have to do in sport or like to prepare or anything.
Hated exercise. It's difficult. I kind of have respect for all parts of the training, so I can't say I got something I really hate.
Or where you think,
stretching.
Oh, no, not again.
Stretching.
Stretching is a good part. Stretching is a very important part. You feel much better after stretching. So no. I definitely can't say I hate something very much. Core, I guess core. Everyone hates.
Oh yeah, core, yeah. I definitely hate core. Okay, okay, Coach. Last question. The reason why everybody once in their life should visit Breslau or Wrocław. Sorry,
Wrocław. To see the market square. I think that's a really good spot to see.
Okay.
The Panthers win. To see Panthers.
Obviously, that's good.
There you go. Karlis has great points. He's really good at this.
Yeah. Karlis, last question for you. Your favorite post-game food?
Post-game food, ice cream. Definitely ice cream.
Oh, okay. I remember American ice cream, though.
Solid.
Okay. Well, thank you guys that you took part in this, and thank you for being our guest today. Maybe you want to give a last shout out to all your fans out there and the people who saw you right now. Maybe we start with the coach and end with Karlis. Is that fine for you, Coach?
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
Well, definitely. We want everybody to get here to Wrocław if you can. It's pretty easy to get here from all over Poland, Germany, Czech Republic. Come visit us. It's a great stadium. Pack the crowd and make it really loud. And let's have a great atmosphere there.
Yeah, I don't know when this is coming out, but definitely come over. It's a great city to visit, and our atmosphere of the game is perfect. And don't remember to vote for Wrocław players and for the All-Star game.
There you go.
Darius definitely deserves to be the top one DB.
Definitely.
All right. I think I will vote for Robbins, definitely. Okay. But thank you very much. I will vote for you too, Karlis. And if there is a coach award, I will vote for you too, because I think you're doing a fantastic job over there, all of you. And it's
he already won, but he was the best coach in Europe last year, right?
That is true. We didn't mention it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
maybe back-to-back coach.
Coach is very humble. He doesn't like to brag that much.
But you can do it for him. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay. Good luck to you all for the next game and for the rest of the season. And talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.